Hello, everyone. So we are doing a presentation and a keynote not only about easy Bitcoin mining, but about easy Bitcoin mining in emerging markets. Because this is the place where you get cheap prices, you get open regulations and governments that aren't so stuck into the thinking that you can actually do things. So yeah, we're happy to present it to you. My name is Timo Steipe. I'm the co-founder of Munich International Mining, and alongside with my other co-founder,
Luca Infeld. Thank you very much for your attention, and thank you very much also for having us here. And my name is Luca Infeld, and I'm also co-founder of Munich International Mining. And let's get started quickly since we have 15 minutes left.
We have only 15 minutes, that's correct. But if you want, ask questions. Maybe we mix it up a little bit. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them while we do our presentations. But unfortunately, I think the clicker, is it working now? Ah, yeah, now it's working. So why even mining and focusing on countries like Georgia, Paraguay, and Ethiopia? These are the main countries where we operate in and where we mine Bitcoin in. And it's pretty easy. For example, we give you now a very good example of some upsides you have in those countries and also about downsides. What you can see here is Georgia. Like Georgia, the country, not the state in the US. And what you can see here is called the Tbilisi Free Zone. The Tbilisi Free Zone is a zone that is tax-free for Bitcoin mining. So you come there and mine Bitcoin without paying any taxes. And they advertised it, but this was not 2020, this was not 2021. This was 2016-17, so they were really front-running the thing. Now it changed a little bit, and what you can see here is the first facility. It's a Bit-free facility, a very well-established miner for many, many decades and years. And that's, for example, a reason why we have Georgia. But there are downsides as well in Georgia.
Yes, of course. Like many people ask us if you go for the, let's say, the big mining companies listed on exchanges in the US, for example, of course, they prefer to go to the US where it's very secure and stuff like that. But we prefer to go to countries where, for example, the electricity is very cheap. But as he said, there are also many downsides. For example, in Georgia, as you know, there is like geopolitical risks have been coming up in the past. And what we haven't faced before, but in our days today, we have been moved out from Georgia to different countries where the potential is, from our point of view, a bit higher.
Yeah, so a part of Georgia is unfortunately occupied by Russia. You can still mine there, but yeah, prices aren't that good anymore. Another place where we have our biggest mining farms at the moment is Paraguay. And why choose Paraguay? A country in South America that is kind of safe, but it's not, let's say, it's not Switzerland, you know? So it still has its own challenges, but it has one unique advantage. It has one of the biggest hydropower plants in the world. What you can see here is the Itaipu. The Itaipu is one of the top 3 hydropower plants in the world. And what you can see here, this hydropower plant produces as much as 10 nuclear power plants. And it's 800% more than the whole country needs. Though they are happy to take US dollars or euros for people like us coming and take their electricity and mine Bitcoin.
Yes, and we use this potential in Paraguay, in Georgia, or in other different countries where the electricity is very cheap. Of course, this is like the huge upside of it. Of course, there's some downsides, but at the end, we want to mine very cheaply. And our vision of Munich International Mining is to give you, or to give us all, the same opportunities and mining as cheap Bitcoins as the big guys do.
Yes. It comes, of course, as with downsides, right? For example, it's hard to, the bureaucracy is very hard. A lot of bureaucracy is being done with pen and paper, right? It's not digitalized at all. So we have like a huge like some sheets of papers where we do, it's called facturas, and where we put our invoices in. And it's not digital. We have to do it with a pen and a paper. It's really crazy, but this is the downside, but also the upside. And and we need it because we need the cheap prices. We are competing against Marathon, like Riot, these huge mining companies, and we need better prices in them. And that's basically what we can get in true restrictions like that. And what we saw in the past, by the way, is very interesting. When we came to Paraguay, everybody thought, Paraguay is crazy. 1 year later, what's happening? Marathon announcing a project in Paraguay as well. So it's very interesting to see how the big players then move after we moved into the country and trying to use the cheap electricity.
Yes, actually, this is a typical phenomenon of the first mover concept. Of course, we are kind of pioneers with others aligned, of course, so we are not the only ones in Paraguay, and we are not the first ones in Paraguay. But of course, it's a kind of pioneer work. It's also a first mover advantage and disadvantage. And of course, after some people have already put some effort in regulating or at least in setting up mining facilities in these countries, big farms will follow.
Yeah, true. And what we can see right now here, this is our newest project. It's in Ethiopia. So why Ethiopia? Ethiopia has also one of the biggest hydropower plants in the world. It's really interesting. You get all this cheap electricity at scale, mostly at hydropower plants. This is something we didn't knew in the beginning. We were just looking for cheap electricity. And naturally, what we saw, it's most of the time what we in Germany call green electricity, like sustainable energy. And it's oftentimes it's hydropower. And what you can see here, it's a new project. And what's the benefit for mining in Ethiopia? We get very cheap electricity, and here the government is taking part in this project because what they want foreign currencies. They want US dollars and euros because they have their own currency. It's called the Ethiopian birr, and it's not everybody in the world likes the Ethiopian birr. They want dollars, they want euros, and that's what we can provide with them.
And another point is why we are focusing on emerging markets. If there is a kind of hydropower plant or a huge source of electricity, especially sustainable electricity, the government or the builder or architect or the project lead in this country have a high interest to get this energy sold. So he wants to sell the energy. So and who is able to bring very fast, very much equipment and to consume like huge amounts of energy, and the answer is Bitcoin miners, right? So if you go for huge projects or other production companies to have to set up a project and have to build their factories for a month or even years. And we go there, we set our containers, like you can see it on the left-hand side, the containers. So these are real containers. Some of them are ours already. So they go online within 4 weeks. So if you, for example, would invest 100K or 200K today, in 4 weeks you have cash flow, and the government or the project lead already earns money.
Yeah, like in theory, Bitcoin mining is very easy, right? You need an internet connection, you need electricity, and you need miners, and that's it. You don't need to look for a customer or whoever. You just start mining, and Bitcoin come in, and you protect the network. And it's good to see that even the government is taking part in it. Like on that side, you see here, the Ethiopian government, through a fund, also own miners, right? They are mining Bitcoin. What everybody's talking about, and governments will mine Bitcoin, they already do. They do it sometimes by proxy, but they're already taking actively part. And now the question is why we do it and what's very important. So the most important thing is that we and our customers, we need to mine more profitable as the biggest player in the Bitcoin mining space. With the biggest player, I'm talking about the Marathons, the Riots, the Bit Digital, these huge mining farms. And they drive up the difficulty, so it gets harder for us to find blocks. It gets harder for us to mine efficient Bitcoin. So what we need is to have our costs less than them. And if we get that by low overhead costs, like not like extensive CEO salaries, multi-millions, but like reasonable then we are much more competitive than them. And that's exactly what we do. And that's what our customers need as well.
Yes, and to keep our network safe and to keep our network decentralized, we need more mining farms, more miners and competitors in different countries with different people on the payroll and different investors in Ethiopia, in the US, everywhere in the world to also secure the network and keep it decentralized. So that's also why we have to approach these countries, right?
Yeah, and this is a very important stats we prepared here. These are all the big mining farms, and you can see their cost for electricity. And what you can see here, the white bar, these are our customers. Customers will buy a machine from us and put it in our facility. They are below a lot of those miners in the pricing. And this is very important to understand. If you invest in mining stocks, you can do that, but then you pay lawyer fees, whatever is associated with it, or you can invest in your own miners, get cash flow, get KYC-free Bitcoin, secure the network, make it more decentralized because you're one entity owning one miner and you choose how you want to mine, with what pool you want to mine, and don't give it in the hands of like the big players. And that's very important. You can't, of course, scale like crazy with that model. It's like more like an organic and slow growth, but it's like the one that is more sustainable. And I will predict one thing for the future, and that in the next 4 years, if the Bitcoin price isn't like 5x, 10x, you will see a lot of those miners like Marathon, Bit Digital, and so on going out of the market.
Yeah, and by the way, these numbers are from official financial statements and are open source.
Yeah, that's nice of them. They publish the data, right? Thank you for that. So we already know what we like. So yeah, we know that we need to be under what prices. And yeah, it's very important. For example, what you see here, one of the biggest miners, Core Scientific in the middle, they got bankrupt already. They were bankrupt, then they were bought again, went bankrupt again. Now they bought again. It's like just an not very sustainable way of mining Bitcoin, in my opinion. That's why companies like ours are there to make it more, not from a financial point of view, not make maximum profit. It's it's also about Bitcoin. That's very important. It's not only about making profit and have a high stock price. It's also about do something good for Bitcoin.
Yes, yeah, here you can see actually as a summary that there are like our approach, not the approach of every miner, but we are not advertising this approach, but our approach is we see in emerging markets like geopolitical risks. We have in Paraguay semi-professional infrastructure, like people are providing energy with an uptime which is not as high as we expected. We see that, of course, we have to transfer funds into a foreign country, even for you, if you want to start mine or if you want to buy equipment from China, import it to Paraguay. Like the financial security is also not very high. And of course, you have some lack of regulations, and even corruption in some countries. And we think if we can overcome these risks and deal with them and find solutions, what we already did in the last 4 years, so our tracking records is 4 years now for successful mining for retailers, we think that we can stabilize our electricity price below the market to give you the chance to mine as profitable as the big players, or even more profitable as the big players.
And this is only possible if you do one thing. You can't do it remotely. You can't just sit in your office, spend millions of dollars on equipment or something, and think you can run a successful operation in Paraguay or Ethiopia. What you have to do is fly there, live there, be in the communities, employ local people, and be really there, because they don't wait for you, right? If you have to come, you have to be a part of their community and not just throw money like over the country, let's say, or a certain amount of people. So you really have to be a part of the communities there, and only this is what makes you successful as a Bitcoin miner in an emerging market. And how we do it, like what you see here is a part of our team. On the right side, it's our administration in Georgia. On the left side, you see Nicolas. He's our mining manager, for example, in Paraguay. In the middle, some repair guys, also from Paraguay, Will, Sergio, and Gabriel. Gabriel. Nicolas on the right. And yeah, that's important. And one thing is what we saw all around the world, no matter where we were in the UAE, we were in Texas, we were in Ethiopia, there are so many Bitcoiners, and it doesn't matter what they had for like a sex or a religion, you know, they were all really Bitcoiners, and it's really interesting to see that all of them had like the same goals, the same things they thinking about Bitcoin, and it's really cool to see that it really unites people around the world, and everybody has not the same, but a similar understanding about what we do. So yeah, and if you have any questions, you can visit our website with that QR code, ask questions, you can approach us at our booth, write emails, meet us on Telegram, talk to us. Like, we are very approachable, all the customers for us know that, so we're happy to answer all the questions. For us, Bitcoin mining is really very, very important, and we love to talk about it. We have our opinions about it, and yeah, happy to share all the things we know and everything. Great, thank you. Thank you.